Hello everybody! Kung meron kayong choice, kung kakain kayo ng carbs at kailangan nyo mag-exercise, pipiliin nyo ba ito? Or are you going to stay low carb and just chill and relax ngayong holiday? So, yun yung ating pag-uusapan for our tip number 3030, second to the last day of our Health Gain December tips ngayong Pasko. With yours truly, Dr. Josephine Grace Rojo. Bakit kailangan i-exercise o bakit natin pinag-uusapan yung exercise if ever kakain tayo ng carbs? This is the concept of calories. Bawat pagkain natin ay merong katumbas na calories. At yung calories na yun yung magdidikta kung ano yung mangyayari when it comes to energy level na ibibigay ng pagkain na yon sa inyong katawan. So for example, kung kakain kayo ng candy, so meron niyang 4 calories per isang maliit na candy. So that is actually equivalent to 1 teaspoon of white sugar. At kung yun ang inyong pipiliin, alam nyo ba na ang pag-burn ng calorie ay hindi siya 1 calorie per minute lang? Sometimes, depende sa physical activity, it can be so much more. So, if you are going to eat extra carbs, like for example, kung pipili ka ng 1 slice of chocolate cake, kakailanganin mo mag-burn ito ng about 2 hours of biking. So, kung hindi ka nagbabike o wala kang bike, at tamad ka din tumakbo o di kaya mag-jogging, are you sure? Are you willing to take that extra calories galing sa chocolate cake? Because if you will not exercise and then, of course, sino ba naman kumakain ng chocolate cake lang? Usually, it's chocolate cake plus plus. At kapag meron itong plus plus, kapag yun na nga yung ating kinain, then we are trapped in this insulin and fat storing model, because if we eat chocolate this chocolate cake, tataas yung ating blood sugar. Pagkatapos tumaas ng ating blood sugar, tataas din yung ating insulin. At kapag yung insulin natin ay tumaas, then yung fat burning na nangyayari sa iyong katawan will be put on hold. And this put on hold ng inyong katawan can be equivalent to fat storing. Especially na kapag kumain kayo ng chocolate cake, for example, merong kasabay o di kaya kumain kayo muna ng kanin, ng pork, ng vegetables, ng fruits, ng juices. All of those are accumulated calories. So, importante na if ever you decide to eat or indulge in those extra carbs, you know what you're getting into. Now, if ever kung gusto nyo is yung choice na wala sa ating option dyan, which is kumain ng carbs at mag-chill, then that is still a possibility. Okay lang naman. We have this, sabi natin, ba, di ba? Holiday calories don't count. Yes, that may be a possibility on the mindset, on your planned indulgence, but it really counts in your body. It can really put some extra pounds in your system kapag nasosobrahan. We are just 2 days away before ending 2021. So of course, we want to end it with positivity and hope. If ever ayaw nyo kumain ng pure low carb at ayaw nyo rin mag-exercise. So gusto nyo high carb lang and chill, high carb lang and relaxation ngayong holiday, that is your choice. And that is something na hindi kayo namin pipilitin, because at the end of the day, katawan mo yan. Ikaw ang makikiramdam kung ano yung status ng inyong health at the end of it all. But I hope pagkatapos ng holidays, kapag bumalik na tayo sa ating routines, ang trabaho ay nag-resume na, yung school, yung usual routine natin, wala na tayong gatherings, wala na ring leftovers, ubos na lahat ng leftovers, pati yung mga regalong mga fruit cake, mga food for the gods, fruits in general, at kung ano-ano pang desserts and high carb food. I hope you get back on track on staying low carb as soon as you can. So low carb, when we say low carb, it's sticking to the safe list of our JGC Rojo food list, because kapag nagsasabi kayo, and we hear a lot na nagsasabi, nag-low carb ako, but it's not working, then we have to ask, what kind of low carb is that? Baka low carb lang, pero panay kayo umiinom ng mga soft drinks na zero calorie. Panay kayo inom ng mga kung ano-anong processed drinks that are loaded with sweeteners. O di kaya, low carb nga, pero parati namang maraming mga processed meat. O di kaya spam and ham and bacon that are not homemade. So, if you say low carb and you feel like you are not successful with low carb, then maybe it's not the best kind of low carb. It is not the low carb that we practice as our kind of low carb, because our kind of low carb is actually made of nutrient dense foods. We try to go to as natural as possible, even organic. Yeah, we also like organic foods, pero importante dito, they are low carb. So, kung naglo-low carb na kayo, kung meron kayong kilala before na nagsasabing nag-low carb ako noon pero hindi ito effective, ngunit you can remember nung naglo-low carb sila, kumakain sila ng black rice, kumakain sila ng red rice, meron pang iba na naglo-low carb daw, pero umiinom naman ng soda na zero, soda na light, all of those. So, you know that it's low carb. Hindi nagsaspike yung kanilang blood sugar, but it's actually not the best kind of low carb because it can still have that effect when it comes to your neurologic processing, mental mindset, mental cravings, and most importantly, for the inflammatory foods like the canola oil, the seed oils, and even soy products, parating nagtotofu, soy milk, soy sauce, and cheese and dairies. We know that cheese and dairies are part of animal-based food eating. But if you are overdoing your cheese and dairies, then that can mean so much, and it can be inflammation, especially in females na merong problems with reproductive health, yung merong mga lumps sa boobs, merong mga problems with menstruation, nagkakaroon ng dysmenorrhea, all the more kung merong mga endometriosis, kung merong mga myoma, merong mga tumors and cysts sa ovaries, and also for males because all of these cheese and dairies are actually loaded with hormones na pwedeng makadisrupt ng normal cycle because yung mga lalaki supposedly will not have female hormone in them. And yung mga cheese and dairies are loaded with hormones. So, I hope yung mga kilala nyong lalaki na mahilig sa cheese and dairies, like mga cheeses and milk, especially milk, you notice if they have gynecomastia o yung pagkakaroon ng man boobs. Also the same way when it comes to inflammatory foods, especially coming from soy, because soy products, soy sauce, soybeans, everything soy has phytoestrogen. So it's like plant estrogen, and it can mimic estrogen in the body. So especially sa mga lalaki, you don't need estrogen. Okay, you don't need estrogen because what you need to have is testosterone. Anyway, those are the nuggets of learnings that you can learn if you stick to low carb the way we promote it, the way we want you to actually experience the healing, the health improvement, hindi lang basta weight loss. And I admit, merong mga tao na hindi talaga ganon ka-successful with low carb. You know why? Yun yung sinasabi natin. Ang mga taong hindi masyadong nagsistick to low carb because in the first place, their motivation to start it is not that deep. Medyo superficial lang. Usually, number one culprit dito is yung mga gusto lang magpapayat, yung weight loss lang. After they achieve their weight loss, they already eat carbs and then they see na hindi na sila tumataba. And later on, they come back kasi noon, ginawa lang nila on their own. And later on, they come back, they seek consultation na, they already ask for guidance because nakita nila, payat nga sila, pero yung kanilang liver, merong fatty liver. Tumataas yung kanilang SGPT, SGOT. Yung iba, yung uric acid, hindi ganon ka nako-correct. And also, their creatinine is increasing. So, the moment we see that, we already know they might be doing low carb in their own definition because they came from three rice a day and then sandwich, pandesal, tinapay, noodles, two, three times a day. And now, nagra-rice sila, one rice a day na lang, and then yung kanilang tinapay, whole wheat bread na lang. So, sorry to say, that is not low carb. You can say, maybe binawasan mo yung inyong carbohydrate intake, so that is a lower carb, but that is not low carb because real low carb is just less than 50 grams of carbohydrates. There are others that defines it that okay lang daw 100, okay lang daw 150. But when it comes to insulin response, we stick to 50 grams or less. 50 grams even, maximum na yon. We don't even maximize it. Kung pwede, kung meron kayong ika-count, you can just count until 20 grams of carbs. So for the meaning of 20 grams of carbs, so iisipin nyo yan, lima na yan, 5 teaspoon na yan of white sugar. Also, kung iisipin nyo, 5 teaspoon ng white sugar, medyo marami, di ba? Pero alam nyo ba, isang slice lang yan ng sliced bread, o di kaya 1/2 cup of rice lang yan, yung 20 grams. And isang magandang halimbawa nito, if you feel like kung ganon yung carbs na equivalent, ano na lang yung kakainin ko? Good news! If you will eat green leafy vegetables, lettuce, cabbage, broccoli, o di kaya cauliflower, yung 20 grams na yan, nasa ano na yan? Around 680 grams. Sobra sa kalahating kilo ng broccoli, ng lettuce, ng pechay, ng cabbage. So, ganun karami yung 20 grams na yan if you want to eat still carbs, but the carbs that we are approving when it comes to the JGC Rojo food list na nasa safe list natin. Always remember the safe list, especially if you are still starting out. Because if you only do low carb, you don't need to worry about exercise, especially if kayo ay meron pang weight to lose. If your weight is still overweight, yung BMI ninyo, yung inyong weight for your height is still too much, is still a little higher, then avoid exercising at all cost because hindi pa kayo fat adapted and you will have a hard time managing yung stress ninyo, yung stress sa katawan, and then your food na nag-a-adjust pa kayo if you do them all together. Give it a break, at least 2 weeks. Stay low carb. Eat as much as you want kung gusto niyo. You can do like a buffet style for 2 weeks of low carb. Tamang-tama sana yung holiday season eh. You can do a buffet style, unlimited. Pero low carb lang. Walang nakasaling sweets, walang nakasaling desserts, walang nakasaling kung ano-ano, walang nakasaling fruit salad, spaghetti, carbonara, lasagna. Kung gusto nyo man, magluto kayo ng eggplant lasagna o eggplant parmigiana, yung ganon. So instead of pasta, sinaslice ng maninipis yung eggplant at ito yung nilalayer. The same tomato, the same meat, the same cheeses, you can have that. At least, kahit pa meron yung cheese na kakaunti, that is still a lot better than eating the whole high-carb lasagna na merong makakapal na pasta. It's not worth the insulin spike. It's not worth the halting o pagtigil ng inyong healing because you want to taste that. The good thing about pasta is that yung sarap, yung satisfaction, if you only put your mind to it, is nasa sauce. Yung sarap naman talaga, it's not just on the pasta. And good thing, sa pasta naman, we have shirataki pasta. And I think I saw some in Shopee and Lazada na nagbebenta ng almond flour na based na pasta and noodles and many other cuts. It's a little expensive, yes, but if you want it that much, then I think it's worth it. And if you feel like it's too expensive, then don't buy it. Hindi kailangan. Those are not essential. So, nasa mindset lang. Kung ganyan, the last time we had our events, especially in our meet and greet, when we requested for pasta kasi part na ng kanilang menu, yung sinabi namin, we will just take in the sauce. So, yung sauce lang. So we had like carbonara and then kung ano yung usual sauce nila, They can have that if you can change the oil they use into coconut oil. And of course, if kayo mismo yung gagawa, much better kasi makokontrol nyo yung ingredients. So, the same way with carbonara, but the ingredients you check with our safe list and you can have a safe carbonara sauce. Kaya kasi kayo mismo yung gumagawa. Yung real carbonara sauce, hindi yung nabibili sa ano ha, for all you know, hindi yung nabibili sa grocery na carbonara sauce ha. Carbonara sauce, yung pinaka-base yan actually is egg. And you know, best friend natin yung egg when it comes to low carb lifestyle. So make your own carbonara sauce, and instead of pasta, you can have steamed broccoli, steamed cauliflower kung gusto nyo ng puti lang, or you can have shirataki pasta, or none at all. Wala na lang. So just the sauce, you make it as your sauce or parang gravy na ilalagay nyo sa inyong meat. Like say for example, you have your chicken, you have your pork. So all of those meat, you can actually savor. And yun yung usual kong ginagawa if merong mga parties. So you don't need to worry about exercise, especially if you are doing low carb. And if ever naman kakain kayo ng carbs, you may consider having exercise, but mind you, you cannot really out exercise a bad diet. Okay lang siya pang short-term use, but try to not just yung parang you will just depend on exercise to burn all the carbs that you are having, because we see a lot. Very fit, very physically active, but parating nagka-carbs, at the end of the day, they still have insulin resistance. They still have that diabetes, that inflammation, GERD. Meron pa rin silang sakit sa tiyan, meron pa rin silang vertigo, meron pa rin silang kung ano-anong mga aches and pains. And it's because yung exercise, it can help with stopping the weight gain from those carbs, but it will not stop the other side effects of insulin, of sugar in the body, which is inflammation. Pwedeng mataas pa rin yung blood pressure, pwedeng magkaroon pa rin ng problem with eyesight, pwedeng magkaroon pa rin ng hypertension, pagtaas ng blood pressure, and many more. So those are little things that you can try to remember, to think, to consider whenever you decide to eat, to stay low carb or not stay low carb, and what you will do after. But if you wish to know more, if ever gusto nyo ng holistic and yung structured talaga na learning, kasi mahirap i-grasp sa isang video lang, then we hope you can join our groups. So, if it's so hard to imagine kung paano mabuhay ng walang kanin, paano mabuhay ng walang carbs. So, when it comes to eating, we have Life Without Rice as our group. So, yung rice dyan is just a representative of all the carbs in the world. High carb, yung mga sugary and starchy kind of carbs. For food inspirations and for transformation, testimonials, at iba pang mga Q&As, basic Q&As. Kung meron kayong tanong when it comes to low carb lifestyle and about fasting, try nyo lang hanapin sa search bar. And then sa search bar, you can put in there keywords like, for example, electrolytes. So, and mostly it is already thoroughly discussed because our groups was made in 2019. 2019 pa actually yung Life Without Rice and Low Carb Feasting and Fasting Community. Kaya lang, muna tayo, charity hiatus nung ating low carb hiatus tayo nung 2020 because we focused on charity works with Bayanihan Mission for the pandemic. But now we are back serving you all when it comes to low carb and fasting para po maintindihan ng lahat kung ano talaga yung root cause, yung pinagmulan, how our nutrition, how our food intake, how the everyday decision we make when it comes to our food, when it comes to our plate, kung ano yung kakainin natin, and when we eat, it has a lot to do with our health, and that is what we call as medical nutrition therapy. So if we have to be specific about it, it's the low carb nutrition therapy. So I hope you can consider that, and if you wish to know more, meron kaming low carb and fasting masterclass by yours truly if you want to be guided. But otherwise, you can just stay low carb. Always remember our food list, stick to the safe list. Special shout out lang sa merong mga allergies, merong autoimmune diseases, merong mga arthritis, asthma, skin problems, yung parating merong skin breakout. So you might need to consider looking and making your own safer safe list within the safe list, because that safe list might not be safe for those na meron ng sakit when it comes to immune system, because mas special case kayo. Iba-iba tayo, but generally, we can be very flexible because low carb is a very, very wide kind of options. It can offer wide options when it comes to food intake. Just know the basic of knowing what to eat and what not to eat, and also when to eat. So always remember, guys, to stay low carb so that we all stay safe. I'll see you again in our next video. Maraming salamat, everybody. Happy New Year in advance. Let's still give thanks to 2021 despite and in spite of what's happening. Know na merong pag-asa, and that is when you are here, while you are here. That is breathing, you breathing with your family, with your loved ones, or even you alone. Be happy that you have that opportunity to be one with yourself, because you wouldn't know also the chaos if parating maraming tao sa paligid ninyo. Always give thanks for whatever you have. Be thankful for 2021, and let's welcome a better 2022. Good night, everybody. Have a good day for those who are still starting their day. And for those who are interested, eto yung masterclass natin.